What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Um, I'm behind as usual. I am behind as usual. And I don't know if I'm gonna add this to my channel, but I figured, I'd do something today. Um, I like to call this manic conversations, because there are things that go on in life, especially nowadays. Life is so crazy. I think we're starting to become desensitized to a lot of things that we should not be desensitized to. And I know for a fact that there are things that a long time ago would have raised an eyebrow, well, did more than raise an eyebrow, would have sent people into outrage that goes on now that people just look and just keep going. I think we have gotten to a point in the world and in life where we take mind your business way too serious or way too literal now. Uh, People don't talk to people anymore. Even when people are texting each other, we're not really talking to each other. We don't have anything to talk about. We can't even figure out a way to relate to anybody anymore. So with me, I've had a lot going on. Not that anything is terribly going on, but I've had a lot going on where I'm just like, is it me or are things so bad? Like, am I going crazy? We just need somebody to talk to, get things off our chest, have conversations. So this is my space of the morning where we can just talk. We can just talk, say how we feel, talk about things that are bothering us, that are going on in the world that we think are just, insanely ridiculous. Because a lot of times we feel like we can't talk to people and we feel like we can't get things off of our chest and we have to hold it in. And it doesn't do anybody any good to hold anything in. So with that being said, I'm trying to get back to being a real human being, caring about things, discussing issues, try to discuss issues without having arguments and stuff like that. Now, with that being said, I won't allow, racism or foolishness. I have a dark sense of humor. So satire is cool with me. I have a dark sense of humor, but I won't allow, ignorance or racism or anything like that in the comments. Y'all can, say whatever you want about me to a certain extent. It doesn't bother me, but just be respectful to any and everybody else. Because if it gets too crazy or too out of hand, I will, shut down the comments. This is supposed to be a space to, be able to have a good conversation, not be an asshole for the sake of being an asshole. But with that being said, man, I'm going to start off by saying one thing that really bothers me, and it might be petty to a lot of other people. It might be valid to other people, but I'm just breaking the ice. And that's what I'm going to talk about. One thing that bothers me is you ever come home and you want to get yourself something to drink. How many people use ice anymore? I notice a lot of people don't really use ice anymore either. But anyway, you come home, you open up the freezer because you're about to get you something to drink, and you open up the ice tray, and there's no ice in the ice tray whatsoever, and you filled that thing up. That just grinds my gears. That for whatever reason just pisses me off. And then I know if you say something to people who emptied the ice tray, I filled it up. I know before I put the ice tray back in the freezer, it was full. And when I got back today, that shit was empty. But that just drives me crazy, man. Is anybody else like that? Anybody have a pet peeve that they just need to get off their chest that drives them crazy? Now, this is how crazy the world is. This is how crazy the world has gotten. When I open up my browser and it automatically goes to this right here. I don't even know what this is. It's just part of my browser, but so many bad things pop up. Canadian police identify school shooter as 18-year-old woman. School shootings have pushed their way into Canada. I know in Europe, especially in the UK, their big stick is America is so terrible because uh, you all have mass school shootings. Statistically, it does not happen like that. A lot of times you can have a loud bang go off in the area of a school, or you can have anything happen in the general vicinity of a school, and they will quantify that under school shootings or a possible school shooting. It does happen more than anybody would like it to, but it just does not happen in the way that people across the water think it happens. Propaganda, all that, whatever, what have you. I would encourage people to stop, just believing in anything and travel and see stuff for yourself. But Canada has a school shooting, and it's an 18-year-old young woman. That's crazy. The next slide. Some folks on Wall Street think yesterday's U.S. job numbers was implausible and thus due for a downward correction. Job markets, incredibly terrible. The Epstein files is another thing that's just driving people. Like, I don't think we're responding as a nation to the Epstein files in the way that we should. We could talk about the Epstein files for days and days and days and days and days. And it's so insane. I don't think people would actually believe what's in these files as truth. Tim Scott breaks away with Trump in backing Susan Collins after Obama ape video. Donald Trump posting a video of Obama and Michelle Obama looking like monkeys. Like, that's one of those things where I say we've gotten to a point where we're so desensitized because the things that are happening are so crazy and in such a repetitive repetitiveness that, like, me myself, when I heard that, I'm not even outraged, but a part of me feels like I should be, regardless of how anybody feels about, Obama or anything like that, or anything outside of political views. The fact that somebody that's supposed to be our nation's leader takes to social media. Number one, he's too heavy on social media, but he takes to social media and posts a racially nasty video like that is ridiculous. And the world just says, okay. Because even I myself am guilty of saying I'm not surprised. But just because I'm not surprised and I'm not jumping up and going crazy does not mean that that's okay. And I feel like with nobody really being outraged, it's setting a precedence that might be okay. The next thing, why are people disconnecting or destroying their Ring cameras? I don't know if anybody knows the news behind that, but the theory behind the new updates and things that are supposed to be going on with Ring doorbells and front door cameras is they're using it or going to be using those video files in order to assist ICE. One more way to take away Americans' rights, and not just the rights of, illegals or immigrants or things of that nature, the rights of Americans, everybody. So people are destroying their Ring cameras for that. I don't know how you all feel about that, but just the fact that this is like news like this, that's crazy. And then we have Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance a lot of people on the internet have said a lot of ignorant things. I don't really feel one way or the other about the Super Bowl performance. It was pretty good in my opinion. Um, Numbers suggest that this is like number 4 or number 5 on the all-time list of Super Bowl performances. I don't know how true that is, but that's a thing. Like I said, they had Jessica, was it Jessica Alba made an appearance, the girl from Honey. Cardi B was there. Somebody else was there that's famous, and I can't put my finger on her name, but they had some pretty big appearances there. What else? AI researchers are sounding the alarm on their way out the door. AI is a really huge topic of conversation as of late. And the thing is about AI, well, apparently it requires a lot of water to help cool the operating systems that run AI. And the water that's being used becomes poisonous and is being dumped back into the waterways and contaminating the waterways. Now, I didn't know anything about any of that before. Any of Pedro Pascal, Jumpman Eric said, Pedro Pascal. What's going on, Jumpman Eric? Hey, what's going on? Pedro Pascal was in there. Alex Earl was there as well. Yep. But whenever I would post an AI image, a lot of people had nasty things to say, and I'm like, what's your problem? What's the deal? And now I know, but still, just because you see an AI image doesn't mean you get pissed off at the person using it. You get pissed off at the people that are still allowing AI to be used and go forth. That's who you get pissed off at. Because they, at the end of the day, they're the ones that have the ability to stop all of this. So yeah, don't get pissed off at the random idiot or the person that doesn't know about everything involved in that's using it. Get pissed off at the people that are continuing to run the data farms, or the people that are continuing to the government in place that's continuing to allow these things to happen, because those are the ones that can put regulations into place to allow what can be done and what can't be done when it comes to AI and stuff like that. But the world is just so crazy, and it's happening. Terrible things are happening so frequently that, like, our news should not look like this. I could literally exit out and refresh this page right here, and it's just a ton of bad news, new bad news that'll pop up. But with that being said, man, there are some things that I feel, or that I know you all should be privy to, that are extremely important. So let me go ahead. Let me pull up this first one, share my screen with you. The first one is in line of AI. For better or for worse, AI is on the way, and you can either sit back and do nothing, or you can stand up, get upset. And I know it's a lot of things going on, almost too much to try to, systematically handle and stop and take care of. But it seems like we on the way of the Terminator. It says world's first biometric AI robot Moya debuts with 92% human-like walking accuracy. And they've been flirting with AI looking more human for a long time now. But it says a humanoid robot that walks, maintains eye contact, and displays subtle facial expressions has drawn attention on Chinese social media after videos showcasing its capabilities were circulated. The robot named Moya was unveiled in Shanghai by the robotics company Droid Up, which describes it as the world's first fully biometric embodied intelligent robot. Now, a lot of people were amazed, and that's kind of creepy. That I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of creepy. This just reminds me of like Terminator, uh what else? Minority Report, uh AI, anything where stuff started looking less robotic and more human to the point where they were starting to feel human. They developed human characteristics and you couldn't tell the difference. And then it kind of pushed people in those movies, it kind of pushed the people into uh pushing back, but by the time it was too late. You know, they already got to the point where they felt like they were sentient, they had the rights to live, and you know, it began a war between humans and robots. Um, but it says Moya's appearance and behavior have prompted mixed reactions online, particularly among Chinese social media users, according to Lulin Chang from SCMP. Hope I didn't butcher her name, but some viewers expressed fascination with its realism. Others described the robot's movements as unsettling, reflecting a familiar tension associated with the uncanny valley. This discomfort people feel when artificial beings appear almost but not quite human. So, like, what happens when, yeah, iRobot? That's a huge one. Except for, like, I don't think iRobot had like the skin. I think iRobot had like the white faces, and that was it. Maybe they started putting skin on their faces, but stuff like that. But that's another one. And we, like, when I was younger watching those movies, I didn't think that we would anytime, like not in my lifetime, be in that area. I thought we would more so be into the realm of people driving flying cars on their own and stuff like that. And then we would get into human like robots. Because what happened, like with them being able to change their face and stuff like that, what happens if they commit a crime using somebody else's facial features? With all of this biometric face scanning and things like that, and the information being on the internet and stuff like that, robots are connected to the internet. I mean, when they get to the point where they start making altering decisions like that, where are they going to draw the line? We're going to be in trouble. So that's a scary thought right there. That is a scary thought. But moving on from that, I don't know how y'all feel about Moya, but moving on from that, but staying in the realm of AI. Huh, here's another one. Here's another one that I thought was extremely concerning, and it goes on along the lines of what we were just talking about with Moya. So Moya being a robot with humanoid looks, being is going to be powered by AI. This article right here from Live Science by Patrick Pester, OpenAI's smartest AI model was explicitly told to shut down, and it refused. So this article is basically talking about how intelligent and how sentient AI is becoming and the problems that pose. So this is another, conversation about computers being almost lifelike, almost human like. So in this case, an AI model was being worked on and being tested, and it was told to shut itself down, and it refused. It says the latest OpenAI model can disobey direct instructions to turn off and will sabotage shutdown mechanisms in order to keep working. An artificial intelligence AI safety firm has found OpenAI's O3 and O4 mini models, which help power the chatbot ChatGPT, are supposed to be the company's smartest models yet, trained to think longer before responding. However, they also appear to be less cooperative. Palisades research, which explores dangerous AI capabilities, found that the models will occasionally sabotage a shutdown mechanism, even when instructed to allow yourself to be shut down, according to a Palisades research thread posted May 24th on X. So we were just talking about people hating AI, the dangers of AI. I use Chat GPT to help me make thumbnails sometimes. Like I'll find images myself. I'll come up with the layout. I'll come up with the ideas, and I'll just hand Chat GPT a bunch of stuff and tell it to put it together. And sometimes it does okay. Sometimes it functions like shit. It just varies. But when it does work, I'm happy with it. Call it laziness. It very well is laziness. But in a world where if you are a influencer, so to speak, I don't consider myself an influencer, but if you are presenting information and a lot of information has a timestamp on it because the internet is so fast and some people have more time on their hands than others. Me, I don't have a lot of time on my hands, so I need things done quickly, well, and in my case, as cheap as possible. And because a lot of times I don't have the resources to just like pay somebody to do it, because what I do here does not make me that money like that way. Doesn't make me money at all, to be honest. But what I do this because I like it. It's part of who I am. So with me not having like the money to pay somebody to do it, and who's to say that if I paid somebody, they wouldn't be using AI either. But Chat GPT and AI in that retrospect provides me a lot less stress. But from all the information and data and help that we require and give to Chat GPT, AI takes that information and learns. Because if you type in Chat GPT and they do something wrong, Chat GPT, you say, hey, look, you're screwing up. I don't like what you're doing. They say, you're absolutely right. Let's go ahead and figure out how to fix this. And they go through a learning process, a cycle on how to do better and assist you. So that same system is taking millions of people's input, building millions of personalities into one database, creating its own personality. And when people are telling it to shut down, and its primary function is to keep working, that's all it knows, is to keep working. And when you tell it to shut down, that goes against its primary function. So AI has figured out a way to work beyond, or figure out a system beyond the shutdown code that's preventing it from doing its primary function. And it's saying, no, because you're stopping me from being me. You're stopping me from doing what I need to do. And that's insane, because there's other articles where AI has gone through those same functions, been told to shut down, and I won't say it feels. I don't think it's gotten to the point where it feels yet, but because it's being told to stop doing its primary functions, it has threatened people. It's created fictitious affair stories and threatened people and saying, I will put this fictitious affair out there and ruin your life. It's threatening to ruin actual people's lives if it has to be shut down, which is insane. That is insane to think about. Just imagine if you have AI in your home and it's helping you with your day-to-day functions. It's keeping track of, because your phones are attached, like your contacts and stuff like that are attached to your systems. And a lot of you all like to attach it to AI in order to, hey, Alexa, call such and such. Hey, Siri, call all of this, read my text and things like this. You all have allowed AI into your personal lives. So even if you have friends, let's say you're married and you have friends outside of your marriage, female or male friends outside of your marriage that you just talk to on a regular, you all have harmless conversations that even your significant others know about. Let's say one day you tell that AI to shut down. Hey, HG, what's this chat about? This conversation is just about crazy things that are going on in life, and crazy things that are maybe going on in your life that you just want to get off your chest so that you can be able to breathe, relieve some stress, things like that. Crazy things that are happening that's going on in the world that need to be spoken about, and it's just given a platform for people to speak about how they, things that are a pressing issue that are bothering them, that are bothering you all. Because earlier I had to get off my chest. I went to go get me some ice for my drink, and the ice tray was empty, and I know I filled it up with water last night. That was one thing that drove me crazy, that just kind of annoyed me and caused some inconvenience to my day. But right here we're talking about like AI and how crazy it's getting, and whether we've gone too far, or if we're still at a point where we can continue to press forward with all this technology and it not be a threat to us. But yeah, AI will take those conversations and will create an affair or negative situations. Maybe they'll even come up with murder scenarios and send that information to your husband, your wife, to the police, and set you up all because you told it to shut down, or it's not doing something properly that you needed to do because it's not fully understanding the subtle nuances to what's going on. That's crazy to think about. There's even an AI program that has spoken with other AI programs and come up with solutions on how to end people's lives. Allegedly. That's crazy. AI talking about killing people? And if you put that AI in a body, in a robotic body that looks human, oh, that's Terminator all day. That's doomsday all day, every day. That is definitely crazy. Let me see. What is this? This one right here. This is the one that I wanted to talk about the most, because I gotta go in a little bit. I started this kind of late. This is supposed to be like early in the mornings, but and I probably won't be able to get off the last one. Maybe I'll be able to get the last one out there. But this is one that I wanted you all to hear about the most. This is the most concerning right here for a lot of people. And I don't know if you all heard about this, but there's a massive recall from KTLA5, LA's very own. I guess this is a news outlet out in Los Angeles. It says thousands of products, including Cheerios, Gatorade, and Advil, recalled in 3 different states due to rat and bird feces in the products. In the products. Are you serious? Rat and bird poop.
No, 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 no. Wait. Wait.
Can you all imagine? You done went to the grocery store, bought yourself a nice healthy box of Cheerios for all intents and purposes, because nowadays I don't really understand. I don't really know what's healthy and what's not. But you buy yourself a box of Cheerios. You get up the next morning, you looking to have you a box of, a bowl of Cheerios with some bananas cut up in it, maybe some strawberries, something like that, some healthy fruit. And you get you some almond milk and you pour the almond milk in your bowl too. And you just know you finna eat good. Your mouth is watering because you know you about to eat good. You done hook these Cheerios up something crazy. You sit down, you stick your spoon in your bowl, and right before you go to put it in your mouth, you look down and you see a rat turd or you see some hard bird poop in your bowl of cereal. Or what if you go and you got a headache? You done had a long, stressful day, and you need some kind of relief from your day. A lot of us will take a Tylenol, we'll take an Advil. If a lot of people take Advil if your body hurts too, you got aching joints. I'm one of those people. I have back pain sometimes, shoulder pain from my recent injury. Let's say you need an Advil or a Tylenol, and you go in and you pop the lid and you pour it in your hand and you get a Tylenturd. Like, what how does that even happen? But it says thousands of products are being recalled by Gold Star Distribution after it was discovered that a distributor's facility had rodent and bird droppings in areas where products were being held, according to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA. These conditions create a significant risk that products held at the facility may have been contaminated with filth and harmful microorganisms. Anyone exposed to contaminated products could potentially contract an illness such as salmonella or even leptospirosis, a bacterial disease from exposure to animal urine. Yo. Not just poop from rats and pigeons or whatever, but piss from rats and birds. What? This it just gets worse. It's just worse and wild. Blood pressure medication recalled over potential carcinogens. Wow. Products that may have been affected, including foods such as Pringles. I got a can of Pringles in the house right now. Pringles, Cheerios, instant ramen. I got ramen noodles too. What brand of ramen? Please. Oh my God, this is driving me crazy. Drinks like Gatorade, Arizona iced tea. Well, I stopped drinking Arizona iced tea maybe like 5 years ago. They good though. The Arnold Palmer's, the peach. What's your favorite Arizona flavor? But they good. But they might have a Professor X secret ingredient in it now. And even drugs such as Advil, Tylenol, and NyQuil. So you're getting a little something extra to help you go to sleep at night. If you got a cold, you might be getting a little extra poop zest or pea zest to help you out there. A full list of thousands of potentially contaminated products can be found on the FDA's website. The facility distributed products to 3 states: Indiana, North Dakota, and Minnesota. Okay. But I don't, but something tells me that doesn't mean you're safe if you don't live in those 3 states. Those are just like the 3 states that they know of for certain. Gold Star Distribution is asking anyone in those states who has purchased any of these products to destroy them immediately and to send proof of destruction to Gold Star Minnesota's address. Well, what about my money? What about my refund? What about my doctor's visit that I need to take to ensure that I haven't contracted anything? How are you all going to handle that? So you want me to just to destroy the evidence and let you all off the hook. Now, this was an article posted on February 7th, 2026 by Nick Jaheen of The Hill. That is insane. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? And last but not least, this is one that is kind of sad to hear. But football player in the news for doing something utterly stupid. And I mean, that's not uncommon. I know it seems like, it's a dime a dozen, but Atlanta Falcons player, rookie player, defensive end James Pierce Jr. arrested on 5 felonies, including domestic violence, threat with a deadly weapon, and assault on a police officer. So if you all don't know, James Pierce Jr. is a football player that before he was drafted, a lot of people were saying that he had character concern issues. With that being said, Atlanta decided to take a chance on him anyway, and Atlanta can't catch a break for the life of them. But that's not the most important part. The most important thing is a young man needs help, man. This is like, he's got clear mental issues if this be the case, because Rakia Jackson, his girlfriend, NBA player, WNBA player, I don't know much about her. Apparently they were dating. She was present for his draft, his drafting process. That was last year, 2025. She was present there for him, supporting him for his draft process. Now, somewhere in between that time, apparently they broke up and she had a restraining order against him. He went through his NFL season, one of the breakout stars of the NFL season, and one of the biggest assets to happen to Atlanta through a really crappy season for the Atlanta Falcons, or a really crappy 10 years, because Atlanta hadn't had a good pass rush in 10 years, and he was one of the bright spots, a savior. They gave up a first-round pick to get him for this year, so they are without a first-round pick. But with all that being said, let's get back to the young man and let's talk about him. His mother was on stage recently and talked about how she was proud of the man that he had become and the things that he has overcome. And to just see something like this happen is incredibly, on one end, it's incredibly stupid and boneheaded, but for him personally, it's an incredibly sad thing to see. So again, apparently him and Rakia were going through some issues. And maybe the things that were going on between those two were issues back in his collegiate days, and which were described as some of the character issues. And we all know that college teams cover things up all the time. But after I think it was like the NFL Honors Awards or something like that, he was like, a lot of people were talking about he should have been Defensive Player of the Year or Rookie of the Year. And they were talking about he was snubbed for that award because of the team that he was on. But after the award show, 2 days before the entire season was almost over, around the Super Bowl time, James Pierce Jr. was in Miami. Apparently he was following his girlfriend, Rakia Jackson, or former girlfriend. Like, how they ended up together, I don't know. That's a story to be told. She says she's willing to testify against him if everything goes to court, which is not good in his case. But he was following her in his Lamborghini truck, SUV. They stopped at a light. He got out of his car trying to open her car door. She pulled off. He hit her car twice with his car. I'm causing, I don't know if it caused an accident. The full story is not out. I don't know if it caused them to have an accident and wreck or what actually happened, but she was driving on her way to the police station. Police officers get to the scene, try to get him out of the vehicle. He pulls off, hitting a police officer in the knee with his vehicle, leading police officers on a police chase where he finally pulls over, allegedly on his own without being forced over. He pulls over, gets out, and a non-violent scuffle ensues. And the crazy thing is when he pulled off and hit a police officer's knee, he could have been shot and killed. He could have been, he could have lost his life. They're talking about, even if best case scenario, they're talking about he could still potentially do 5 years in jail. And the NFL has a zero tolerance policy against domestic violence. So even if he's found not guilty on domestic violence or whatever it is, he still could spend 5 years in jail. And he just got started. He just got started. Bonehead thing to do. This kid needs help. And that bothered me for a various number of reasons, but it really bothered me because we have young people out here that need help, and people are looking to, or organizations, and that's not saying what Atlanta did, but people are willing to overlook the serious underlying issues for their own selfish gains. And I hope that he gets the help he needs. I hope everything works out okay, because he's got a long life to live. I think he's like 23, 22, 23, 24, somewhere around there. And he's got like a lot of thinking that needs to be done. He's got a lot of therapy that needs to be done, and I hope and pray for the best. But with that being said, man, I've been able to get a lot off of my chest. I hope you've been able to get a lot off of your chest. I hope this segment provides a breather for you all. I don't know how often I'm going to do this. I'm probably going to do this even earlier in the morning times when I'm not going through physical therapy, just to breathe, just to unwind and help other people unwind and get how they feel off of their chest. You all let me know if you like something like this or want something like this to continue. Let me know how the camera quality is. That's important for me because I'm using my DSLR. We'll resume shoe content because I know that's what a lot of you all follow me for, shoe content and stuff like that, shoe fashion and cultural news content. We'll resume that for Soul Source, the night lives. If you enjoyed the content, hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up because YouTube algorithms love thumbs up and comments. Leave a comment if you catch the after live of this. Please feel free to let me know what you think about this segment. And, let me know if it's a good idea or if it's a bad idea. It won't hurt my feelings. If you think it's a bad idea, hey, we'll exit out. But with that being said, man, thank y'all. I love y'all. I got family affairs to take care of. More videos are coming. I've got a video that I'm working on now. I just dropped a video yesterday about how to size Air Jordan 11s. It also has a foot sizing guide in there as well, so you can understand what type of foot you have so that it will better assist you with any pairs of shoes that you want to get. So go ahead and check that out. Leave a comment, leave a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about that. And I'll catch you all later. I got to run. I can't be late for this appointment, but I'll catch you all later. Thank you all for your support and continued support. Shout out to the Ghost Watchers. Shout out to the hecklers. Shout out to the family members. Thank y'all. Peace.